Well, stacking and packing. And I'm telling you what, this country is full of instant gratification motherfuckers, let me tell you. Oh, man. Been sitting on the sidelines, watching this old world go round and round again since that last move on the 8 ounces that I purchased at Spot. Recall, I took in the stack envelope. Now, how do you get a stack envelope? It's from an old, very ancient custom. It's very impressive when somebody follows through with it. It's called budgeting. It's where somebody takes one of these, separates it out, housing, food, a little bit for emergency cash, cover that house payment, cover that electrical bill, maybe invest a little bit, or just save. The interest is paid, returns are made, and that turns into this. And you stick with that budget. The most impressive things I've seen on YouTube is that little guy that's out there, and you know he works hard because he buys 3 or 4, 5 silver dimes a week, maybe a month. Maybe it's only once a month. I don't know. But they do it, and they're consistent about it. And I find that shit impressive, and my hat's off to them. What's not impressive is somebody going out and buying a full roll of ASE Gold Eagles. Now, if you're a multi-millionaire and you can do this 5-6 times throughout the year, you know, that's one thing. But if you're buying a whole roll of ASE or AGEs or Bison coins, and then you don't have any money and you got to recoup for the next 2 to 3 years before you can make any larger purchase again, you're wrong. You have absolutely no clue what you're doing. I don't know. You're making a YouTube channel or something. That instant gratification, people love to get on YouTube, and they love to see those great big purchases that they wish they could make. Everybody talking about gold being an investment and silver being an investment. Yeah, that guy that keeps on to his budget, growing wealth. And as that investment and that wealth grows, then they hedge it. I went and bought over $13,000 worth of gold coins just a couple weeks ago. Do you think I did that to be cool? I shared it with you. Do you have the full story? Do you understand at 10% somewhere I made a $130,000 investment? Or I grew $130,000 in my wealth and I hedged it with that gold. That gold's not my investment. I ain't going to get rich off of buying that gold, but I am going to protect the $130,000 investment that was made before that hedge was bought. You get to this point by doing your budget, sticking to it. That guy who's out there working hard, getting paid weekly or bi-weekly, and taking his money and being smart with it, and you know, it sucks eating top ramen day in and day out in the beginning when you're young, especially when all of your friends are out there buying new pickups and shit. Them budgets eventually turn that into this. Now that looks like a lot, but it's just a bunch of little things, right? But that's set off to the side. It's part of your wealth. And you hedge. You buy your home instead of paying rent. Next thing you know, you realize, I've got $100,000 home and I'm just making, pulling these numbers out my butt as an example. I understand $100,000 can't buy you a Tesla in California, let alone a home. But you got a $100,000 home, you put 6 months of payments away, which is, $10,000 cash in the bank. You also put another 5 away because you're going to cover, something like what's happening today. Goes wrong, you've got the cash to cover the electric bill, the flat tires, the car breakdown on top of your house payment. And you don't want to lose it, so that's when you start hedging. You bring in that silver and gold. If you got $150,000, your house is your first investment. You're protected in that with the cash that you have in the bank, a CD, whatever. That's when you think, maybe, goddamn, how do I protect myself? Well, you go out and you get that silver and gold. That's what hedges you. If you go 10%, you'll have $15,000 in silver and gold to protect that 150. And then you take some more of this stuff. You turn these into that. This comes from the smaller stuff that's invested. And as your wealth increases, you hedge. The little stuff turns into a little bit bigger. Next thing you know, you got one of those. So, if you got $500 cash and you're doing 10% hedge, you go out and you get yourself some $50 worth of silver or golds. Eventually, you got one of these. Another 10%, you got this, and then you hedge that. With $100 worth of silver and golds. Silver and gold is not an investment. If you're going to invest in silver and gold, that's like what? Buying 2 stocks, Google and Tesla. That's all I'm going to invest in. Doesn't make no sense. It's the small stuff and sticking to the budget that's impressive. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens over time. It takes moves. It takes discipline to be able to turn into the big things, to be able to have your stack load. I hope you're being safe. I hope you're being kind. Most of all, I hope you're being considerate. By protecting yourself and your family in these times, that in turn is also considerate to others because you don't put others at risk with what's going on. Be smart. Stack it, pack it, invest it, and be considerate.